Welcome to Pamphlet Hour. Today we are celebrating the publication of this and these and many other fantastic pamphlets are available at Rough Trade Books. If you buy 3, you get 1 free. So many good pamphlets. I have been asked, hang on. I have been asked, 23 people have asked me would you rather questions. 23 luminaries of stage and screen and page have sent in would you rather questions for me to answer to celebrate this, where I ask Will Oldham would you rather questions. Will Oldham is one of the luminaries who has sent in a would you rather question for me to answer. I will be answering these questions. I will be wearing a different outfit for each question, and I will also recommend a book each time. Fuck off, Andrew. Right, let's get cracking. Question 1 comes from Joe Dunthorne. Hey Joe. Comes from Joe Dunthorne and his son Lorne. And they would like to know, would you rather... Hang on. Would you rather... I can't even do Darth Vader. Hang on. Would you rather a jug of slugs, a dish of fish guts, a bowl of moles, human, benign, or a flagon of maggots? I have to actually say, Joe Dunthorne, I love Joe Dunthorne. I recommend Joe Dunthorne's work. But this is a disgusting thing that you've done here, Joe, and it actually caused a tiny family argument in my house last night because I mentioned to my wife while we were eating this dinner that I'd spent all evening preparing that you had asked, would you rather a bowl of moles, a bowl of human moles? That is one of the most disgusting questions ever posed to a person. A jug of slugs, a jug of slugs, a dish of fish guts, a bowl of moles, or a flagon of maggots. I think I'll have a dish of fish guts, please, Joe. Thank you very much indeed. Next question comes from Will Ashon. Lovely man, visionary prose stylist, industry godfather of UK hip-hop, Will Ashon. If you haven't read Will Ashon's book on Wu-Tang, you haven't read one of the best books ever written on music, on how and why music is made, and how this masterpiece was made. So Will Ashon asks, would you rather be a frozen pea for eternity or do frozen peas for eternity? I would rather be a frozen pea, please, Will. I like the idea of it. Cuddled up with my pals. Next up, we have Selena Godden. Selena Godden, the legend, has a novel coming out next year. Not read it yet. Looks incredible. Can't wait. Selena says, Would you rather get so drunk you wake up with amnesia, naked in the lion enclosure of London Zoo, with a group of students all pointing and laughing and filming you through the glass, then their faces changing to horror and terror as the lions are released for morning exercise? Or get so drunk you wake up with amnesia, naked in a submarine with an officer shouting, "Report to duty, Porter!" and no recollection of joining the forces, and no memory of getting a terrible tattoo of Winston Churchill's face on your chest. Beautifully crafted, would you rather? I will go for the lions, if I may, because I feel that I would, if the shit hit the fan, be able to calm a lion. I believe I would have what it takes to not be eaten. Whereas I'm one of these people that every 3 weeks, when the argument appears on Twitter about whether Churchill was a hero or a psychopath who deliberately starved millions of people, I tend to veer to that side of things. So I wouldn't want a Churchill tattoo, and I don't want to be in the army because I'm a pacifist. So, lions. Thanks, Selena. Next up, we have... a lovely question from Wendy. If you haven't read Wendy Erskine's collection of short stories, Sweet Home, you must. These are brilliant, 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 brilliant. Your question, Wendy, is...
She's laid beside me.
Would you rather prepare party snacks over a bottle of wine with Dirty Harry Callahan, or clear up after a party with Bill Callahan? I hope this background music answers my question, lovely Wendy.
I was there still.
I love cleaning up after parties anyway.
River could be.
Still a bit wasted. Just scooping. I'm a big recycler, so just making sure that all those cardboard plates, still a bit cakey, scoop off the cake into the food bin, into the cardboard with the plates.
Swept over.
Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like to hang out with Bill Callahan. Okay, next up. Let's go boxing helmet for a question from Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy! If you've not heard of Cillian Murphy, he's the guy in Red Eye. Cillian Murphy says, do you see what I've done here? I'm playing a Radiohead tune, because he loves Radiohead, but I'm playing an Echo Collective version of a Radiohead tune. It's a beautiful record, this, actually. Cillian Murphy says, would you rather recite for us your favourite limerick in your best Irish accent or your best Australian accent? And I have to do it. This is one of those tricks the Irish play, because if I were to actually recite a limerick in an Irish accent, I would be accused of all sorts of cultural appropriation, possibly lose my career. So nice try, wanker. There was a young person of Kew, whose wives and vices were few, but with blamable haste she devoured hot paste, which destroyed that young person of Kew. I think I fucked that, hang on. Talk amongst yourselves while I just think this through. There was a young person of Kew who's... I can't do an Australian accent, alright? Well done, Cillian Murphy, you busted. Can't do an Australian accent and I'm not doing an Irish one. Buy the pamphlet! Right. Bert Jansch. Bert Jansch, we are playing for author Dan Richards. Great book about going all the way. Dan Richards asks, incredibly difficult to read as a bear. Would I rather be a bear or a man? I'd rather be a bear! Would you rather have a massive beard or a huge stovepipe hat that you have to wear for one calendar year? I'd rather have the hat. I love the stovepipe hat. Like that. Yeah, the hat please, Dan. Right. Artist Rose Blake. I love Rose Blake stuff. I saw it on the internet the other day. I thought it was brilliant. I didn't know what to play for you, Rose Blake, so Guns and Rose is Blake. Rose Blake says, would you rather carry a prawn in the palm of your hand for the rest of your life, or have prawns for toes? She says, an important detail is that the prawns never go mouldy, but they do smell prawny enough to be noticed. You can swap the prawn between hands and choose whether your prawn toes curl upwards or downwards. I'm not a huge fan of prawns, I won't lie, Rose. I guess toes so that people don't see them and I don't have to kind of confront them very often. The thing is, if you look at your toes, they're disgusting anyway, so it'll be just an extension of my already uneasy relationship with my toes. I love your little drawing you've done. So I will say toes. Thank you, Rose. Maybe you planned it that way for that little rhyme. Now we have... Hang on a minute. We have a question from Jeff Travis, founder of Rough Trade Records. Hello, Jeff. Jeff says, would you rather teach a class of literature, university students, Christ, it's hard to read in these glasses, Prynne's poems, J.H. Prynne, or James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake? Prynne! Every day. I've never actually read the whole of Finnegan's Wake, so I wouldn't be much good at teaching it. Not that I've read every Prynne poem, but I've read enough to know that we could go places, me and those students. So, yeah. Thanks, Jeff. I'll say Prynne. Next up, we have... This is brilliant. Editor and author Matthew Clayton would like to know, would you rather paint like David Jones or write poetry like David Jones? Well, he's my favourite, as you know, Matthew. I'm going to say write. I'd like to write like David Jones, but I know that would come with a great deal of spiritual and emotional angst. I love his art and I love his letter cutting, but that visionary, mystic brew, I'd like that. Thanks for the question. I guess you know that I find that fiendishly difficult to answer. Woo! Who's this? I had to rush the playlist a bit, so I can't quite remember why I've chosen some of these tunes. Well, this is Babak Ganji. Another pamphlet that you can buy on the Rough Trade Books website. You could get it free if you bought 3 others. It's great, this. I don't know why I've chosen classic V recordings cut for you, Babak. What's your question? Would you rather ask the question or answer the question? I like asking questions. I don't feel I have very good answers. I prefer to ask. Well, so I've got kids. We do long car journeys. This is how this all started, you know. I like to be the quiz master. I don't know whether that means I'm a control freak of some kind, but ask, please. Right. Next up, we'll just let Crocodile Smile roll out a bit.
Smiling faces.
Next up we have Hannah Griffiths. Hannah Griffiths is a person I owe everything to. She took a punt on my first book. Hannah has said... Hannah has said a personal fact before she asks the question. This is the game that I played with Marcel, her beloved, the night I met him, July the 3rd, 2004. The Highbury Garage, Steve Lamac's punk rock karaoke night. I saw him sing, Going Underground, and he saw me sing, Another Girl, Another Planet. See how carefully curated this is, Hannah. And we sort of fell in love right away. When we left the garage together, we walked around North London until sunrise playing Would You Rather. We played it for hours and hours, and it was an excellent foundation for a relationship. I remember many of his answers still. Hannah! I love that. And she says, would you rather hardback or paperback? Paperback for the people. More books, more readers. Free books, cheap books, good books. I love a hardback binding, I won't lie, but we must say, for the good of the planet, paperbacks, get them out there, put them in your pocket. Right, next question comes from my pal in Louisville, Kentucky, Joan Shelley. It's horrible to talk over such a beautiful song. I'll let this play for a second. What do I want? Oh, I'll just go for a little Teletubby thing for Joan.
Is coming upon a large ship over the ocean. The ship, it has 3 masts of silver, with ropes so light and from silk woven.
Extraordinary voice Joan Shelley has. There's a song up on Joan Shelley's Bandcamp that we wrote together if you're interested. It's free, we put it there as a gift on May the 1st. Joan Shelley says, would you rather be haunted by a ghost from the 1500s that whispers its life stories in your ear all the time, or live in a house where all day long you see the apparitions of the beings that will live in that house in 100 years? Fuck Joan. That is intense. I sometimes feel like I do have someone whispering in my ear all the time, and it stresses me out. So I will say no thank you to the 1500s ghost, but I would like to know more about... I think I'd rather know about the 1500s than 100 years hence, I suppose. That's incurious of me, but that's my hunch. And the idea of seeing apparitions all day long... I don't like being given a fright, so I don't like the idea that they'd endlessly be jumping out at me, being like, oh, we're all digital now. But okay, I will, sorry, I've changed my mind. I will say I'll live in a house all day long where I see apparitions of the beings that will live in a house in 100 years. Because I can find ways to be sociable and coexist with those people. That will be a challenge for me, and we must accept challenges. Thank you, Joan. That's a beautiful question. Next, we have another ghost-related question. Hey, hang on a minute. That's the wrong tune. Oh, no. John Clegg at the LRB. I chose a Ghostface Killer tune for you, but I have actually failed to put it on the playlist. Excuse me, everyone, where I just find What do we want? I think I'd found it on Iron Man. Oh, what did I found it on? Maybe it's Supreme Tune. I found it anyway. I thought it was the perfect tune, John. Oh God, I'm just going to press play on any Ghostface. All right. This is a major failing. Okay, this is the Czarface, or the new one. John, I'm so sorry. I'm new to making playlists. John Clegg. Ooh, John Clegg. If you've ever met John Clegg, it's like an encounter with John Clegg is like a drink of ice cold Lucozade when you've had a tummy upset. Absolute reinvigoration. And he's an incredibly good poet and one of the best booksellers that walks this earth. This is one of his collections of poetry that I loved. He says, would you rather live in a house haunted by a... Oh shit, didn't change my outfit. John, I've let you down horribly. John Clegg says, would you rather live in a house haunted by a ghost which can materialise at any time from dawn till dusk but only in one particular room, or live in a house haunted by a ghost which can materialise in any room it chooses but only during one particular hour of the evening? You get to choose the room or the hour. Yes, I'd like that one, please. I'd like to choose the room, and I'd like to say 7 p.m. in the kids' bedroom. I'll be there. That's a nice question, and like an odd sequel to Joan's question in some respects. Yeah, I'd choose that, and I'd actually like that. And it actually allows me to tell you a story. Hang on, this is just a bloody awful choice. Oh, let's have the Adrian Young record. Okay. There was a ghost in this house. A little girl. And I saw her a few times. And my son saw her. And my wife, who doesn't believe in those things, saw her as well. She's gone now, though. She wasn't malevolent, I don't think, but she definitely wasn't keen on us to begin with. I think she was just sort of saying, enough with your vulgar 21st century noise. Anyway, where do we go to next? We go to Robert Macfarlane. Rob Macfarlane! They pulled in some big people for this. Return of the Mac. Hang on. My goggles on for Rob Macfarlane. Highly recommended, of course, as is everything the man writes. Rob Macfarlane asks, oh, what I'm playing, by the way, is this a tune, which is my answer. This is the Charm on the Goldfinch tune from the album Lost Words, which grew out of the book that Rob did with Jackie, and it's an incredible record. Would you rather be a curlew or a goldfinch? Well, the answer's in the record. I would rather be a goldfinch. Because I love the goldfinch. I love the little yellow blast, and it really raises my spirits. Also, goldfinch is my father-in-law's favourite bird, and he's one of these people that believes that the bird appears when you've died, and it has happened to him as it has happened to many people, that you see the bird after the loved one has died. And I like the idea that I'd come back and he'd be like, oh, well, there's a goldfinch. Oh, snacks. Do you know what I mean? That my ability to annoy him would actually be woven into the human species relationship forever. Lovely question, Rob. I hope you're well. We now have a question from Rob's editor. Oh, hang on. Birdsong. Bloody running out of outfits here. I thought I counted. I don't have that much in the way of outfits. These are the kind of glasses my dad wore in the 80s. I feel like I should smoke some Dunhills. Editor and publisher Simon Prosser says, would you rather swim in a river or the sea? And again, I've let the song answer for me. I'm a river man. And I love the sea. I think I never so. Obviously, if there's a clean sea or any sea, in fact, I'll swim in it, and I love the sea, but I don't love the feeling of salt water on the body, and I don't like the feeling of vastness as much as I like the feeling of freedom and in containment on a river, particularly an English river that is. None of them are clean, apparently, according to this guy that I know who works for the Environment Agency, but nevertheless, the illusion of being in a clean English river. I think it's as happy as I've ever been. Hearing my kids run around on the riverbank while I splash around. It can't be beat, so yeah. In fact, I'd love to have a river that ran down at the bottom of my garden. I could wake up every morning and just, before I've even had a cup of coffee or anything, just run down and jump in the river. I don't dream of many things, but I'd love that to happen. Thanks, Simon. I hope you and yours are alright. Okay. Boondog. This is a question from Kerry Nepal, Kerry Nokati. This is a bit next level, this one, hang on. Would you rather be a fisherman of bogwater crow? Hang on, I haven't changed my glasses. Would you rather be a fisherman of bogwater crows? They are empathic and full of hope, but you will only get close enough to smell their breath, never to know them. Or a silver birch of moon egg nest. The moon has become a nest full of golden eggs. They are eggs that unlock the secret of joy, but you will only get close enough to hear the shooting star keening, never to hold them. Kerry. We skip forward. Sorry, I took too long reading that question, Kerry, because it is a lengthy little fucker, isn't it? I'm going to say I would like to be a fisherman of bogwater crows. And I think I'll be good at it, and I'm really looking forward to your book, Kerry, a visionary person. Okay, so that tune you just heard there was Sauna Youth, which takes us to Jen Kalea. This is a really good book. And Jen is a member of this band, Sauna Youth. And Jen's question is, would you rather be absolutely silent, no form of written or spoken communication with other people whatsoever for a year, or be called upon to give a 5-minute press conference to express your opinion about something topical every day for a year? Silence. I beg of you. Easy. Silence. Please, 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 please. But not while you're a great tunes playing. We now go to Chris Power, and I've chosen a T-Power record to play while we hear from Chris, which I think you'll agree is smart. Chris Power, great short story writer, author of this brilliant collection, and also really good about short stories. If you ever want to read a good essay about a short story writer, Chris has probably written it. Chris Power says, would you rather know the identity of Jack the Ripper or spend an hour with Jesus? I think I'd have the Jack the Ripper identity, please, Chris. I hope that's not disrespectful to anyone, but I feel like Jesus' mysteries have been well investigated, but it would be interesting to know about Jack the Ripper. And I suppose I have to admit there's a tiny part of me, an irresponsible part of me that thinks maybe it was the painter, Walter Sickert, and that Patricia Cornwell was right to invest all those thousands of pounds and years of her life into proving it was him, and everyone went, it wasn't him. I guess a little tiny part of me would like to phone her up and go, it was him. You nutter. Right. Oh, wow. This next one. Don't even... Oh,
Another.
Another Teletubby. This is from Lisa O'Neill, and I love Lisa O'Neill's music, and I was chuffed that she sent a question in, and I would just say that the best gig I've seen in the last 5 years of my life was Lisa O'Neill last year at the End of the Road Festival. I went into the tent, it was busy, it was hot, I was a bit wasted, and I was emotional, and anyway, I'm always emotional, but the sound of Lisa O'Neill starting to sing had an instant effect on me, and I it's a cliche, I was weak at the knees, so I sat down and I wept this unbelievable current of gratitude and just humbled awe at the power of this person's whole artistic thing. The voice, the words, the stage presence, everything. Absolutely brilliant. Lisa O'Neill says, would you rather be a student or a teacher? I would rather be a student, Lisa. I have much to learn. Thank you for that question. That's a really good one. I hope I get to hear you play live again. This is some kind of voguing action. I guess, is it okay to repeat outfits? I'm going to put these back on. Oh no, I haven't used these maybe. For Niven, Govindan, Niven, the legend, the Godfather. What a writer, what a man, what a friend to so many. What a force for good in the world. Would you rather spend 3 months in New York in 1979 or 1989? I'm gonna go. I just don't think. I think if I went 1979, I'd know what was coming, and I'd be too excited, and I'd feel. I think musically for me, it's going to be 1989. What a lovely question. Thank you, Niven. Stay well, my friend. Next we go to a good bit of pagan energy. A bit small for me, this mask. This is Julian Cope, but Julian Cope didn't send the question, he wouldn't do that, I don't think. This is from 4 brown girls who want to write, and they said, would you rather be part of the original prehistoric team who built Stonehenge or be one of the stones? Wicked question, pertaining to some work I'm doing at the moment actually, so thank you for that. I'd rather be the stone, please. I'd love to be the stone. Next we go to fair play to Jason from Sleaford Mods for sending in a question. I'm honoured. Not the nicest question in the world, but I'm going to have a crack at it. Would you rather be burned alive by a drug cartel after watching them throw other random victims into a pool of acid? Or would you rather, after arriving into hell, be attacked by a bird-eating spider which measures 10 feet by 15 feet?
Fucking nailed down the oak. Fly into the city in my technicolor dream coat. Stories told.
The second one, please, Jason. I would like to arrive into hell and be attacked by a bird-eating spider which measures 10 feet by 15 feet. You don't specify weaponry, so I'm going to give myself a broadsword and dispatch said bird-eating spider withoout a pause. You're a force for good. Right, next we have Will Oldham, Bonnie Prince Billy, whose latest record is available now. I love this record, like all his records. That one's a real banger. Will Oldham. It's a pleasure to work with him on this project. Oh, I've run out of mask. Oh, I've got the red Lego mask. It's an overused word, the word genius. But Will Oldham, I think, is a genius of lyrics, of music, of sensibility. Let's see what he's got for us. There's 5 of them. Would you rather choke to death on spaghetti or smoked trout? Smoked trout, please. Would you rather have your hacked up body stored in a refrigerator or a freezer? Freezer, please. Not the Alcorp professional job, not the full-on cryogenic froze me forever business, but just in the freezer for a few days while you figure out what to do with me. It's fine by me. Would you rather die from the coronavirus or a tsunami? I'd rather die from a tsunami, thank you. Would you rather be burned... Will! Would you rather be burned at the stake wearing your mother's or your grandmother's clothes? Well, my mother wears kind of baggy, smocky type artist, like aprony type things, which would be loose fitting enough to make my final moments comfortable, but my grandmother wore a lovely kind of 1950s house dress things in lovely floral prints. So I think if we're thinking of the whole kind of aesthetic impact of the scene, then I'll go for my grandmother's dresses, please, Will. And finally, I can't believe this. The final question of Would You Rather Pamphlet Hour, raising awareness of this magnificent publishing, all this lovely spirit, these beautiful words that people have put, these lovely songs we've heard. The final question, courtesy of Will Oldham, is: when eating a turd sandwich, Donald Trump's feces or Boris Johnson's feces? And he's kind enough to say, I would live through this. Donald Trump's or Boris Johnson's turds in a turd sandwich. In a shit sandwich. Magic 8 Ball. Magic 8 Ball. Donald or Boris? No. It just says yes. I fucking despise Boris Johnson, and I know that he eats probably quite... Actually, he's been ill, so maybe not. I was going to say he eats a kind of rich Fortnum and Mason type, you know, boar sausages and creamed potato-y, relatively luxury, you know, palate. And I think, therefore, his shit would probably be quite high grade. Hang on, I'm going to put a bit more Superwolf record on. Trump eats junk food and Diet Coke, and I imagine his shits are like... I imagine he has these tight little rabbity things. Easier for me to eat. I don't want to have anything to do, you know, I don't want to have anything to do with Boris Johnson. I don't want to eat his shit. I don't want to see his shit on my fucking TV. I don't want people to drink his shit, which is what they do. So, for sheer comedy value, I'll eat the turd of the clown. I'll say I ate the shit of Donald Trump. I can tell my grandchildren that, can't I? And I suppose let's hope that the world has rearranged itself in such a way as to say that, God, we came through that and Grandpa ate his shit. Whereas if I have to say to them I ate Boris Johnson's shit, I'll just be disgusted. So, thank you for a beautiful set of questions. Thank you all for submitting your questions. Thank you, Rough Trade and Nina, for being a brave, independent, spirited, brilliant publisher and for taking a punt on work like this. All this brilliant, brilliant work. And while we're here, I love Daisy Lafarge's poems. I love Will Burns' poems. I love Mumtaz and Mary's poems. I love this book, The History of Sound System Culture, done in interviews. This is worth its weight in gold. And one more little plug, because we're talking about homemade things, zines, pamphlets, the energy, the good energy, the work that can't be put away. If you've never read Anders Nilsson, the graphic novelist, this is a new series he's doing called Tongues. This is some of the most visionary work I have ever seen by anyone working in any medium. Blow your mind good. Alright, peace, love, thanks for listening.